This room is filled with leaders and filled with groups that have been around for a long, long time, way before FAM was even remotely a thought or idea. We are here because we want to help facilitate the conversation and set the tone for sharing.
I think the typhoon has provided us an opportunity to really talk about an issue that is facing our community, which is, as a Filipino, I always felt like we were like trying to drag each other down instead of lift everybody up.
What really is the bottom line of crab mentality? If you're in the barrel and you have a bucket of crabs, you don't have to put the lid on it because ain't nobody going anywhere. Because when the crab goes up, the other one's pulling you down. That is really, we use this term crab mentality, but that's really what it means.
One of the reasons why there are so many crabs that are fighting for over one thing is because of systemic issues. That if there is very little for us to fight over, then that's what we're going to fight about, right? Catastrophe brings us together, but can we also come together in proactiveness? So can we come together based on education? Can we come together based on health disparities?
And Typhoon Haiyan happens, and then all of a sudden everyone is like talking about like, you know, proud to be Pinoy, Pinoy Pinay, AOL.com, Back to White, you name it, whatever it is. Then there's like families like Jose's and other families that are sending remittances this whole time, and it's like we wait till a big issue happens to really unite. Like every 3 hours, someone is infected with the HIV virus in the Philippines. You know, every other day, women are being trafficked out to like the Middle East or to other parts of Asia into sex slavery, domestic slavery.
How do we not reinvent a flat tire? And let's actually ask the question, did we actually make an impact in the lives of the people that we were trying to serve? And so instead of fundraising, we actually got Filipinos and non-Filipinos together in Toronto and New York to create technologies to help rebuild a better, stronger Philippines.
Like, we have created a dependency system, right? That is so necessary, but is also kind of pernicious. It feeds to this crab mentality.
There are grassroots organizations and individuals and people on the ground in the Philippines who are doing incredible, beautiful work, and we're not like some sort of godly saintly thing like, we'll give you this money because we are your saviors. What are they doing on the ground that is already amazing, and how can we support y'all? And a lot of people actually brought up this connection, this bridge to the homeland that is 10,000 miles away, that some of us have never even stepped foot on.
Because we are unseen in historical texts, because we are silenced in that sense in terms of, it exists, but often it exists in academic spaces where that's where it will live forever. But like you're saying, how do we have these wonderful texts written by our community to educate us on what our identity is and what our history is?
You know, we are all here because of systemic issues that prevented us from being able to create a livelihood in our home countries.
We should be proud that we are here in this country, in America, as Filipinos, and not be ashamed that, back in the Philippines, it's backward. Never mind that, we're here. How do we just progress so that we get noticed more? We're the invisible Asians of this country.
We have the opportunity to really define for America and for Filipinos back home and for future Filipinos what we stand for: hard work, education, and hopefully working together.
For us, it's not just about building this community of doers, but really, how do we activate the different talented, passionate people in our community to really do something and make something?
What's the infrastructure here? I'm not saying we build an NCLR or an NAACP, but like, how do we build that? Like, what does that look like?
Yes, there is historical conflict that happens with a lot of our different groups, much like there's historical conflict that happens in our families. Now, we can decide to just sit in that historical conflict and never talk to our family members again, or we could try to take some of these positive steps. I think there's a combination of things that can happen. We could recognize that history exists because we can't just erase history, but we can try our best to move forward.
Anyone in this room could really ultimately agree on what is negative. Unanimously, we could say, crab mentality, this, that, whatever. Okay, so what are we going to do when we leave this room?
I just want to be here and like learn and help prop up everything that you all are doing. And I think that why I'm really curious about this stuff is that because it's not that simple. I think that we're we're doing new things and all kinds of interesting work is emerging, and maybe it's time to look at how we do things and find a different way.